Okay, so this is going to be number 6 out of the 8 factors that prevent people from resolving their debilitating symptoms, especially if you've been trying to resolve your debilitating symptoms for over 6 months. Then the sixth factor that I found is not working holistically. And what I mean when I say holistically, I mean truly holistically. So there are a lot of programs out there that are integrative, but saying that they are holistic. Or there are people who are working on all different levels, let's say working on the mind, emotions, energy, etc. So they're doing different programs, and because they're doing different programs, they're saying, I'm working holistically. And actually, that's not holistically, that's integrative. And the problem with integrative is that basically what you're doing is you're taking a whole bunch of different things and putting it together and hoping that it works. Because one philosophy says working on the emotions is good, and then you're taking another philosophy that's saying working on diet is good, and then another philosophy saying working on the body is good, etc. So what you're doing is you're mixing different theories, different practices, and putting them together, and by default saying, oh, because we're working in all of these different areas together, you're working holistically. So that's actually not holistically, that is actually integrative. And in my practice, I found many people and people that I encounter that do a lot of different programs together, meaning it's integrative, and they're actually thinking that they're working holistically. And there are actually programs, and even programs that I've taken in the past, that say that they're holistic, but they're actually not holistic. So let me explain to you what is holistic. And when you understand what holistic is, then you understand the difference between holistic and integrative. And you can work holistically and incorporate some integrative work in it. And I'll give you some examples of that. But in generally, you want to make sure that the foundation of what you're doing to resolve your debilitating symptoms is coming from a holistic approach. So if you look at the different schools and sciences and systems on health from the Far East, like the traditional Chinese medicine, Taoist medicine, traditional Thai medicine, traditional Tibetan medicine, the different systems that come out of from India. And now, when I'm talking about the systems coming out from India, you want to make sure that these systems that are being taught is taught in the same way that it was taught 1,000 years before. So meaning not something that's taught after this 1,000 years, because a lot of changes have happened. So if we're looking from the point of view of Ayurveda or Siddha medicine, I'm talking about those systems the way it was taught and practiced 1,000 years ago and beyond and before that, but not because a lot of these, let's say, I've come across with these Ayurvedic systems or Indian systems. They're not truly a holistic, and also a lot of the practitioners who are doing it don't understand the entire concept, or they didn't learn the entire system of these ancient systems. So that's a little bit confusing. Even in Chinese medicine today, you also find the same thing when it comes from these schools, universities. They really don't have the understanding of the holistic point of view of it. But so let me explain from the Chinese perspective, and it falls into all the other systems too, the same way. So holistic. So in the Chinese system or the Tao system, they look at things from the energy perspective. So it starts with the yin and yang. Then from the yin and yang, it goes down to the 5 elements of 5 emotions, 5 organs, and then you also have the 12 meridians. So as you see, everything starts from working, balancing the yin and yang energies. And then it's balancing the 5 elements, right? So when you're working on the 5 elements, you're working on the emotions, you're working on the mindset, you're working on the energetic level. So when you get in the Chinese medicine, when you get, let's say, herbal formula, that herbal formula is doing, what is it doing? It's working on the energetic component. So let's say we're talking about it's working on the specific meridians, right? So it's working on the specific meridians inside your body. Now, those meridians are is where the energy or chi flows through. Now, let's say if it's, let's say, the liver meridian, so what it's going to do is going to work on the liver, physically on the liver, but also on the energetic part of the liver, also any mental, emotional parts of what is connected to the liver. So when you're getting a herbal formula, you're taking that in consideration. However, when you're doing integrative, you're just taking any kind of supplement that's good for the liver, but not taking in consideration how it's affecting the energetic system. Is it too much yin? Is it too much yang? So in other words, is this herb too much? It has too much heat in it, or going to cause too much heat in my body, or is this herb going to cause too much coolness? Right. So remember we talked about. I mentioned that you have to have the balance between the yin and yang. So when you have the balance between the yin and yang, that means hot and cold is part of it. So you want to make sure that if you're working with the liver, you also have to see, do you have too much heat in your system, or do you have too much cold in your system? So you're not just taking an herb because it's good for the liver, you're taking an herb that's good for your liver, specifically also working on how it affects the yin and yang inside your system. There are other aspects to it, but I'm just sharing a very clear way for you to understand the difference between holistic versus integrative. So integrative, you just take any kind of supplement for the liver, you're just cleansing it. But when you're doing it on the holistic approach, those herbs are specifically designed to work on your physical level, your mental level, and your emotional level, etc., on all the levels, even with the type of foods that you're eating. So when you're eating certain foods, the diet is based on what foods are, how they're affecting your energetic system, right? And when you work on the energetic system, you also work in the mental system and an emotional system by default. And that's how it becomes a holistic program. Right. So what I found is a lot of people, and I'll give you a simple example of this. Let's say digestion. So a lot of people have issues with digestion. So what they'll do is they'll take aloe vera, and they'll eat a lot of aloe vera, and they'll take pineapple. Pineapple, very good for your digestion, and they'll eat a lot of pineapple. One of the biggest issues that I found is that if your body has too much coldness in it, right, then taking too much aloe vera and taking too much pineapple actually will make your symptoms worse, because they're both cooling. Even though they're technically, on paper, they're very good for your digestive system. Pineapple has a lot of enzymes in there. It's good for your digestion, and aloe vera is very good for your digestive system. So even though they're both very good for the digestive system, but if your body has it's too cold, then that is actually cooling your system. And if it's cooling your system, it's making your health, your condition worse. So that is a way to see, now you can understand why holistically is very different, because it goes to everything from what exercises to do that would help you on all the levels. And so when you look at the foundation of the five elements, the yin and yang, the emotions, the meridians, they all connect to each other. And so when you're looking at that perspective, it goes from the top all the way down. And so everything that you're putting in between it's connecting to the main thing, balancing the five elements, or balancing the yin and yang, or balancing the meridians inside your system. And so it's very different when you're doing integrative. Oh, I'm going to do some meditation, and then I'm going to do some running, and then I'm going to do some body work, and then I'm going to do some supplements. I'm going to take some vitamin C, etc. Now, if your foundation is holistic, then you can put some, you do some integrative stuff that that can help. And let's say if you want to increase your antioxidants, so for example, I'm just giving an example, then you can take some stuff that improves, increase the antioxidants inside your body. Now you can start playing with the integrative system. So, but if you have a program that is, let's say, working specifically on nutritional therapy, right? So the big ones that you will see out there are called functional diagnostic medicine or functional medicine doctors. I mean, actually not doctors, they're practitioners, some are doctors, but practitioners. And they'll give you a whole thing of blood work you'll take, and then based on the blood work, they'll look at what vitamins and minerals and hormones you're missing, etc. But then again, it's only focusing on the chemical level and without understanding how these supplements affect the energetic level, meaning, in simplicity, is it heating your body or cooling your body? Let's talk about yin and yang. Is it making you more yang or is it making you more yin, right? Or is it removing too much, or are the supplements removing heat, or are the supplements removing cold, right? So there is, like, if you have too much yang, you need to lower the yang. If you have too much yin, you have to lower the yin. If you don't have enough yang, you have to increase the yang. If you don't have enough yin, you have to increase the yin. So even though you're going to doing a comprehensive test with all the blood work, and you're getting a whole thing of supplements from, let's say, the functional medicine doctor or practitioner, and they're giving you a list of supplements to take, you'll find also, and I've seen this, where people are still struggling because, again, it's not holistically, even though many of these people who do this type of work call themselves their program holistic, but it's not holistic. So in summary, the difference between holistic and integrative. Holistic looks at from the energy all the way down, and everything that you implement, how it affects the energetic system. When you're working on the energetic system, you also, by default, you're going to be working on the mental, emotional, psychological, etc., and physical system and chemical systems, right? And the organ systems. When you're doing integrative, you're just taking different parts and putting them together without understanding how they would work holistically when we're looking at it from an energetic perspective. So I found when you're working holistically, you get improvements a lot faster, a lot quicker, and then you also have a better understanding of the root causes, and you can address the root causes a lot faster and easier. Okay, if you'd like to know more about me, you can go to thrivetoinfinity.com. If you'd like to work with me to speed up your recovery or speed up your healing time, you can email me at contact us at thrivetoinfinity.com, and I'll talk to you next time.